Here's how you can nurture your leads on autopilot so you can make sure that you increase your show up rate, build more rapport, increase your closing percentage, all while decreasing objections and resistance. So let's get into it. This is called an indoctrination sequence, and you might be asking, what the hell is that? Well, it simply is the first few emails that you send to a new lead after you get the new lead, okay? And what this does is it increases the show up rate, it builds more rapport, it increases the closing percentage because they know you more and they've seen a bit more of your work. It decreases objections and resistance, sales resistance, and it increases your social proof and authority. So let's dive into this, right? There is a 2 or 3 email message sequence. You can choose whichever one you like. And it simply means that you're going to send a sequence of messages to the new lead after they book a call before the call. Does that make sense? Okay, so once you get a new lead, you're going to send them on autopilot, right? Because you're going to automate this, a sequence of messages that they will receive before the call. So that way, then when they get on the call, they're a bit more briefed and they kind of understand a bit more about you and your processes and how the things you do work. Okay, so therefore, you can already see how it builds more rapport, how it would increase the show up rate, and how everything just benefits from having an indoctrination sequence. Okay, so let's dive into how you can actually create this, what it looks like, and how you can utilize it to benefit yourself. So email number 1 is your story. Okay, we've talked plenty of times about how you have to share your story, and it's no different today. So right after they book it is when you want to send this email. The time limits don't matter. I just say 1 hour after because it makes more sense. If you want to do it 2 hours after, be my guest. Okay, I just say 1 hour after, it's easiest. Okay, right after they book. Okay, here's how you're gonna write the email. Okay, and obviously you're just gonna write this once in a Google Doc or Notion, then copy and paste it and have a Zapier automation send it to all your new leads and go high level. Whatever you do, okay, whatever your CRM software is, however you want to do it, you can do it manually for all I care. Okay, so how you want to structure this email is your intro. Intro yourself, and by the way, I'm going to show you guys an example of my indoctrination sequence. Okay, so it's your intro, then it's your backstory, so where you came from. Okay. Then it's your process, like how you got to where you're going to, not to where you are, but where you're going to. Okay. Then it's the failures during that process, right? We all didn't become successful on day 1. Okay. So we're going to share the failures. Okay. And then we're going to go to the epiphany, which is the aha moment where you finally figure it out. So let's say, for example, you worked with 3 clients and you got them 0 leads for Facebook ads. And then you finally realized that the problem was that the creatives weren't engaging enough. So you started to make your own creatives. And right after that, you got 10 new leads in just 2 days. Okay, that would be your aha moment. That's your epiphany. Okay, so what finally worked, and then you're going to share the results of that. Okay, and then you're going to share the story of the person you got them results, and then that's it. Okay, so let me share you a bit about mine. Okay, I know this is super long, but I'm going to dive through it really quickly so you can get a kind of an idea of what it looks like. So, shortly after the booking the meeting, okay, hey name, this is Stefan from Visions. Visions. I figured I'd share a little bit about myself before our call on date and time. Make sure you preface this in every email. Okay. Since I'm in business in early 2022, I've been able to scale Video Visions beyond what I ever thought was possible and help tons of business and content creators grow their brands on social media short form content. However, that is not how things started. Since I was young, I always wanted to run my own business. This is the backstory, okay? Be my own boss, pick my own hours, etc. But I never knew where to start. So I kept making videos for myself in hopes that one day become a famous YouTuber. This failed miserably, but I had fun in the process. After a few years, I needed to make money. I was stuck heading down a path I didn't want to go down, surrounded by people I didn't like. Then I realized I had a skill very few people had. I could edit and film videos in a way to tell a story to others. So I'm not going to read this whole thing, okay? That would just bore you all. But you get the idea, right? Like we've gone through the intro, the backstory, the process. Okay, we're getting to the failures. The failures is when I landed my first client, and I fucking bombed it because I didn't know what I was doing. But eventually, I realized, okay, that videos that I make for myself are very different than videos I make for other people. Okay, this is obviously just one form of indoctrination sequence. I have plenty of others. And you might have plenty of others. But I didn't quit. When my next client hired me, I was nervous. After my past failure, I treated my process, but this time I didn't think of just making a video. So I thought yada, yada, yada. And essentially, after all this, my client grew his average video count by 5,000%. And in 1 week, just made 20 grand off the videos. Okay, so obviously things went amazing. And then I basically just said I doubled down on editing short form content for social media and building out systems to monetize that content. I look forward to hearing more about your story on our next call. All the best, Stefan. Okay, so that is the first part of my indoctrination sequence. Make your own. Okay, there's no right or wrong, and this is just your story. It's just so you can kind of share basically where you were, where you came, and the things you've learned along the way. Okay, so that is the email number 1, the story. Okay, now email number 2 is your case studies. This is what you will send about 1 to 3 hours before the call, and it is simply for social proof purposes. It's simply to show the prospect, hey, look, we've done this for plenty of other people. Why don't we do it for you too? It's essentially what it looks like. So, my example is this. Hey, Name, before we get on our call today, I wanted to share a little bit about my process and expectation to help you get a better understanding so we can make the most of our time together. You don't have to copy this verbatim. You can write this however you like. That's just how I've structured it, right? And then you can add as many case studies as you want. Whether you link them to your website or whether you actually implement the case studies here, totally up to you, okay? And then shoot me over any questions before our call at date and time if you have any questions. Okay, this doesn't make any sense, but boom, okay? Boom, 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 boom. There you go. That is the indoctrination sequence that will increase your show up rate drastically, right? Another reason for this is typically on average we want our prospects to consume like 7 hours of our content before they show up. This is one way, okay? It's by getting them to read our story. It's by getting them to know our case studies, yada yada yada. Okay, so this is something that you want to be doing that helps you nurture your leads on autopilot. There's no extra work required for you. All you have to do is write these 2 emails one time, plug and play their names in there, and boom, away you send them. Okay, it's actually that simple, and trust me, this works a lot. If you use this in conjunction with calling the leads, the video I posted about a week ago, you will make sure that 90% of your leads show up, okay? So make sure you're using this. Super easy. Like I said, you can literally put this on autopilot. Now, with that being said, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you want help getting your first client, click the link down below for free coaching. Yeah, that is all I got for you today, folks. I will see you soon. Drop your video request down in the comments. Other than that, have a good one. Peace.